Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I am just excited. I'm always just the person that's got to be running their mouth, and here I am running my mouth today, this Friday evening with you all. If you don't know who I am, it's entirely possible that you don't. My name is Nicole D. Vick, and I am an author, public health professional, civic leader, all sorts of things. I'm a mom, and I'm really happy to be here with you tonight. Tonight, I want to talk to you about lifting as we climb. This month is Women's History Month, and because I'm a Black woman, this is Black Women's History Month as far as I'm concerned. And I have really been lucky in my life to have women of all races, all ages, different generations, all walks of life really pour into me. And I want to take this opportunity to talk with two of the great friends that I have about their journey as a woman, as a Black woman, and what they think of when they think of lifting as we climb. I just want to give you some background. I have to read it because I ain't that good. I ain't that good memorizing anything. But the lifting as we climb phrase actually comes from somewhere. Someone said this term, and let me give you some background on it. This quote is from Mary Church Terrell, who was an advocate for racial and gender justice, especially for the rights and opportunities for African American women. And my co-host today, Nomsa Kalfani, reminded me that she is also a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. So I got to put that in there because she said, don't forget, honey, she is a Delta. So let me read the entire phrase from where this quote comes from. It goes like this. And so, lifting as we climb, onward and upward we go, struggling and striving, and hoping that the buds and blossoms of our desires will burst into glorious fruition ere long. With courage, born of success achieved in the past, with a keen sense of the responsibility which we shall continue to assume, we look forward to a future large with promise and hope, seeking no favors because of our color, boom, nor patronage because of our needs. We knock at the bar of justice, asking an equal chance. Y'all, that me reading it out loud, I shouldn't be crying this early in the thing, but that spoke to me. That is amazing. And I think it really speaks to why I hold that phrase so close to my heart. So we're going to talk about that today because that we done got into something already, and it's what, 5 minutes in. Let me bring in my two good, great guests and friends. Dr. Nomsa Kalfani, y'all know her because she's just amazing. She is a great friend of mine. We have started off as a professional connection work-wise. We are friends. Actually, scratch that. We are family. That is cousin Nomsa as far as I'm concerned. My other friend, Dinshay Lee. Dinshay Lee is amazing. I met her at an event some years ago, and over the years we have become friends. She's a fashionista and literally actually works in the fashion industry, so that's why we real cool anyway. But she's also the wine lady, and we'll talk about that later. We love people that have wine and alcohol. So that's why Dinshay is my friend as well. But let's come on and bring them both in and get this conversation started. Because if you let me sit here and talk all day, I'll be done just went into all kind of tangents and circles, and that's not the plan for tonight. So let's bring on our friends here and have this conversation. Hey y'all!
Hey, hey, hey.
I
Hey.
was here and almost had myself crying in the first 3 minutes reading this quote from Mary Church Terrell about lifting as we climb. And I'm like, why? That really like hit me in my heart. And plus I was reading it like I was in a theater class. So before we dig in, what y'all drinking? Today I have sparkling water with like lemon flavor with some vodka and some agave and fresh lemon because I don't have no wine, did Shay? We might have to talk later. What you doing?
Always have wine. I'm sipping on some rosé tonight. This is a rosé that is made by the LVE winery that is John Legend.
Oh,
Very
what
light
you
and
got?
refreshing for the night.
Okay.
I'm just sipping on a little red. The Reds have it tonight.
Okay. So we all going in a different lane, but we good. Okay. So this is Women's History Month / Black Women's History Month. I mean, we Black, so I mean that's kind of the lane I'm in right now. But I want to just jump in. One word, in one word, tell me, what does being a Black woman mean to you and why you chose that word? Then Shay, since you're the newbie, you go first.
Okay, so to me, the word is goddess. And the reason I choose the word goddess is because when you think of a goddess, you think of somebody who's a ruler, you think of somebody who is also exemplifies just everything that is peace, that's nurturing, that's power. And that's what Black women are. They're all of those things rolled into one, and you have to like bow down to them.
Yes, I like that. I think I'm like, I don't know how I can top that. No, so I'm gonna let you go next because I don't think I can't do it.
So I may not top it, but word that comes for me is life. And whether you physically bring life into the world, Black women give life to everything.
Yeah.
Families, work, our dreams, how we engage, our friendships, right? And so we give life to everything. So that's the word that comes up for me. And it's beyond just bringing human life. It's not about that. It's really the life we give to everything we touch.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. And to piggyback on yours, I think for me, because I hadn't thought about this in advance, I never do. I want to use light. So God is light and light. This whole idea of being the light, and I think that is also something that we embody. And hopefully, this conversation tonight about lifting as we climb will bring some more insight into that, because I think literally lighting the path for someone else, I think is something that we also do and need to do more of for our sisters that are making their way, whatever journey they're on, literally doing more and being more intentional about creating that path. And so another basic question, just to get us warmed up. Women's History Month, what does it mean to you? Have y'all been doing anything special? Y'all got a candle, a tree? Did you go carrying? Like, what do we do? I got my t-shirt on, Queen, but is there something special about Women's History Month that you do? Just curious, or should we start doing?
Well, you know what? I feel like I support, love, touch women 365, right? But
Yeah.
I appreciate having a month that we can highlight, right? We have a month, you have International Women's Day thrown in there. It's Black Women's Day for me every day. But I use this month to highlight women, right? To highlight women that I feel like have touched me in a certain way. If there is a quote that I feel like will uplift another woman, I'm posting those. But it's really about giving women permission to just be everything, right? And so I posted something on LinkedIn. That's probably where the majority of it shows up. And it talked about, keep being I'm going to see if I can find it really quick. But the thing that I really loved about that is that we just keep going, right? We keep taking up space. We keep showing up at the table, even if it means bringing our own folding chair, but showing up and using our voice, right? And not letting the world and people and mansplaining shut us down. But really claim it and own it. And so I love we get a month where there's a month to do that. But, for me, it's every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. For me, it's women, supporting women, uplifting women, honoring women, celebrating women is a lifestyle for me. In some of the businesses that I've created, I definitely make sure I highlight women. And what I tried to do during this month, don't necessarily post anything on social media, but behind the scenes, I try to actually really support and buy from women. So everything from my skincare, I'll make sure I support that local woman and just buy her whatever it is, her acne kit or her face mask, my body wash, instead of going to Target, instead of going these different places. I actually put my dollars where my mouth is during Women's Month and let women know I'm not going to, TJ Maxx to get my candles. I'm coming to this month at least. I mean, I do it all the time throughout the year, but in March, I really, really focus on it. Anything that it is that I want to buy, I try to buy it from a woman.
And I love that you said that, because I just bought new T-shirts from a Black-owned web. I love statement T-shirts, so I just bought. Don't tell my husband, but I did just order some new T-shirts. I just got some lip gloss, some new makeup. Should have some on now.
Looking good.
But it's like, again, doing exactly what you said. How do we continue to invest and support and elevate melanin voices? Sorry, Nicole, I just had to throw that in there.
No, that's perfect, because I think what you both are saying is exactly what Lifting as We Climb is about, right? Is about not asking for favors, not asking for a special exception, but, we're going to support because these women are providing and producing quality products. It's part of the reason why the pop-up shop exists, for me to bring in Black women vendors that make beautiful products. I'm not bringing people in that make, popsicle sticks with a piece of glue on the side. Like, these folks have skills and make very high quality products, and it's like, yes, I want people to know that these are people that you can spend your money with and that you should spend your money with and be intentional about. So I think this is great. I mean, we don't necessarily have a candle lighting ceremony or have a Women's Month day tree or anything like that, but what we're doing actually has broader impact. When you spend your money with a woman, and the hope is, especially if that woman lives in your community, that dollar gets recycled and stays in your neighborhood. So no, I think that's amazing. And let me segue to our next question. When I was thinking about this event, I realized all three of us are moms. We have daughters. I think both of us, Nomsa and our daughters, are grown. Then Shay, your daughter's almost there.
40 days.
I know she got a calendar. Tell her to enjoy her last 40 days, because when she becomes an adult, you gotta start paying for stuff, and then it's not fun anymore, but you can't go back. So just tell her to.
This is it, boo.
So my question is, what is your wish for their futures in this society? They are going to be Black women navigating through a world that is very patriarchal, very misogynistic. We got all kind of stuff going on. What is your wish for them moving forward?
I mean, for me, is that she would show up in the world unapologetic. I think that what I have been experiencing with her in the last few years is that a lot of times there's this pressure to be something that you think other people will accept, whether that's, you go to school to become a nurse or you become a teacher, and like, what does that look like? And even the fact that I've invested so much in her dance career, and now to see her transition into like makeup and beauty, I just want to see her show up out unapologetic, and I want her to really take ownership of that and say, you can build an empire. Like, you do this, you're naturally talented. If you go and you surround yourself with experts and you go to school and you get that education, this can turn into a skincare line. This can turn into a makeup collection. This can turn into your own beauty school where you're eventually, having students come to you and learning how to do makeup and cosmetology from you. So I really, really, really hope that she sees me making my moves in the world, kind of trying to shatter that glass ceiling. I'm right there. And I hope that she would do the same thing and kind of just show up unapologetic.
Yeah. Nomsa?
I love that. I will say I have just always wanted Mayanna to be true to Mayanna, true to herself, not to compromise, not to settle, and that she can be whatever she wants to be, and she gets to create that path. And sometimes though, I feel like our girls look to us and sometimes some of the self-doubt comes into play because it's like, am I going to be like my mom, right? Am I going to be as good? Or they don't want to let us down. And so the other message I've also tried to make sure she takes in is it's not about being me. It is being her, and to create her path, her way, right? And I support whatever it is, you know what I mean? But it's like, I don't want her to create this unrealistic, these goals, right? That set you up. It's like, you just need to be you, and we will get there however we need to get there. And the path may not have started or ended the way we thought, but whatever we need to do to get there, we're going to get there. But just be who you are at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. I think often too for young Black girls, like you said, they feel this pressure to perform and to follow this particular path. And I think for me, even with my daughters, like, it's okay. You might go this way and then come back around and end up going around the corner and come back again and then go in a direction, because she's doing the makeup and beauty thing. And then thought she wanted to do something else and went down that road, came back. I'm like, girl, as long as you figure it out, please do figure it out at some point. Because I just, and not so much because I feel like you just need to figure it out, but it's like, as a mom and a single mom, I know that my days are numbered. I'm not here forever, and I want her to be able to take care of herself, even though she tells me I will never die. I'm like, no, I think at some point I'm gonna be ready to go anyway. So
Yeah.
I think we to be able to take care of yourself and not be lost and not feel like, oh, what do I do now because my mama not here. So yeah, I think that sounds like we're some great moms. I think we need the Mom of the Year award. I think like we got it all figured out for these kids, and I'm just glad that. And I'll say this, I'm glad that at least for my daughter, she honestly does feel like you all are her aunties. Like, she'll be like, yeah, I was talking to this today, or yeah, don't you said this. And I often tell her, ask. And again, that goes back to lifting as we climb. I said, ask them. They may have some insight for you that may be helpful to you. So I think that's a great thing.
I definitely do see Andrea as like part of my family, part of my community. And when I do see her post things, I try to interact with her. When we were able to do things in person, I definitely try to ask her, like, how are you? Not as like being Nicole's daughter, but just being somebody, a woman in my community that, I want to see you succeed. And what are you into? What are you up to? What are you, what you doing these days?
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's my niece. No matter, that is my niece. I mean, take it back some years ago, I thought I was gonna have to put some Vaseline on my face and put my hair in a ponytail. Back in the day. So yeah, that is my niece, and I will be there for her no matter what. But that's my girl.
Yeah, I remember that. Now that I had forgotten about that day. When you said that, we had to. Yeah, that was a while ago. But we had to jump in the car. Didn't say, I don't know if you know that story. We had to jump in the car and go get Andrea because somebody had said something crazy. It was a mess. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But yes, Nomsa was there.
Not beating them down.
Oh, I was so mad. I don't think I had ever been that mad ever. That was a mess. Okay, let's change something from that one. So that was something else. So I don't know if y'all know, you guys, YouTube, and everybody else, every Wednesday on Instagram, I do a Wednesday Wisdom. And this month I've been talking about important topics relevant to women, like taking up space, right? Take up all the space, sis. Don't shrink yourself for nobody. What kind of pressures have you encountered that have caused you to not take up space, and how did you move past it? So now let's get into trying to help people see or real life examples of this lift as we climb, or some of the struggles we've had and how we navigated through. So then Shay, you can go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, for me, being that in the world of fashion and being in the back end of that thing, where I am orchestrating the actual manufacturing, the supply chain, I have definitely been told things like I'm aggressive rather than assertive. aggressive, a lot of comments that would make me try to, shrink myself a bit. I have been told I'm intimidating. A lot of comments that it's like, well, if I were a white person or if I were a male, I don't think that you would interact with me this way. I'm the boss. Like, I'm the director. I'm in a role of authority, and that's why I take a position of authority. But there have been times where I, shied away from certain things. And like, even being in a new role with a new company, same kind of role, but a new company, I was like, let me take a step back and let me see how things are done. But then I can't. People realize that I know what I know and I do what I do. And then they're asking me, well, can you take on this? And can you take on that? And I'm like, I sure can. Put the money in my hand and I sure will. And so it's like, shrinking myself doesn't even work. You try to shrink yourself and people are like, well, what's that bright light over there? Like, what's going on over there? What you know over there? Bring that. We need that. And then you have to come up and show up as yourself, and you have to take up all the space. You have to show up with all the knowledge. You have to be like, I got this. And you do have to set boundaries, but you definitely trying to shrink yourself. There comes times where you feel like you have to, but it ain't the way to go. Ain't the way to go. Definitely.
Wow. And I remember when you and I
you'll be missing out on acknowledgement.
That's true. And I remember when you first talked to me about what you do, I was like, wow. I'm on the other side. I go buy the clothes, put them on. And I'm like, yes. I don't know the whole process of everything that happens behind there. And just to hear you talk with such knowledge and authority about what it is that you do, you can tell when somebody is proficient and an expert in their field. And I'm like, this child, she know what she's doing. So it's like, it's amazing to hear, because again, we don't often get the backstory of all the kinds of careers and things that people do. So I'm always amazed to hear your stories about that. That's why we got to go back to go start walking again, because I'm sure I'd have missed out on some stuff that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, that whole temptation of, well, let me just be quiet because people are perceiving me a certain way, that can be very damaging. And it's often hard to decide, well, do I just go on and be me and just take that risk, or do I be quiet and lose out on opportunity? And I think it sounds like you were like, nah, we gonna push forward, we gonna push through and make this happen. So okay, cool. Nomsa, because I know Nomsa got some stories. Let's hear it.
I definitely don't know how to be quiet, but I found what it resonated with me. It's in line with what was just said. To the women who are told that they are too aggressive, keep being assertive. Too bossy, keep leading. Too direct, keep asking questions. Too difficult, keep telling the truth. Too much, keep taking up space. Too ambitious, keep dreaming big.
Yes.
So I've heard all of that. I've been told I was too aggressive. I've been told I was bossy. I'm too direct. I'm too much. Yes, I can be too much. Too direct. And I've always struggled with reconciling that, because then I felt like, well, then I'm not being me. And I don't know if it's the only child in me. I only know how to be me. I don't know how to squash it to be something else. And because I've struggled with that, it's like you then have to figure out how to navigate. So I did, over time in my career, have to figure out how to navigate with balance, right? So it's like still being able to say my truth or to speak up and share what's on my mind, but in a way that I could be heard. So that was then became my mission, was that let me learn how to do this so that they can hear me and not just push it away, or let me say it and we move on to the other thing, right? So it's like, how do I at least say it where if nothing else changed, they heard it, and maybe somewhere down the line I'd be like, oh, okay, wait a minute. but at least in the moment, it's not me trying to think about, should I say this? Should I not say this? And there's times I know I can say something on the other end. Some people might say it's harsh, but it's true. It's not like it's a lie. I pick it up. It's true. And I do create boundaries, and everybody can't come in, right? And everybody can't come into that space. And it is all, to me, it's like black and white. This is work. We can engage, but then there's limits, because then I never want anybody to use something against me as I'm trying to move us forward. And some people don't understand the boundaries that we have to create, especially as you move up, right? Yeah. So things you get to do as a coordinator, you don't get to do when you're a director, right? Or a chief, or the relationships change, how you see what's happening change, and everybody don't get to go with you.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, you're right about that one.
That was
very true. Very true. And I think for me in my career, I've just been so lucky, blessed, however you want to say, that I've had so many strong women role models in my career. Most of you know government work. I've been working in government for 16 years. And almost all of my supervisors, actually, no, all of them have been women. A good number of them have been Black women. And they have, in some way or another, taken me under their wing, have pushed me past what I thought I could do. And a lot of them are still mentors, Facebook friends. I can text them and say, oh, my goodness, I don't know what to do about this thing. What do you think? And it's just been a really fulfilling experience for me. So I don't think I have ever had the experience where I felt like I couldn't say what I wanted to say. There have been microaggressions being nicknamed when nobody calls me Nikki, but somebody decides to call me Nikki. Like literally, there's nobody has ever said Nikki anywhere, but this one random white man will be like, yeah, Nikki. And I'm like, sir, and I'll have to say, sir, my name is Nicole. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, don't do that. So that kind of thing sometimes happens, but I think I've been lucky where I've been able to kind of be protected in a sense by, again, those strong women that have been my supervisors or mentors in the workspace. And then, of course, like I met people like Nomsa and the other sister friends and our community work. And so, it's like I've always been surrounded. And I just like somebody praying for me. And I'm like, thank you, because I feel like I've been able to do pretty good. And I think I don't think that that's the norm. It's definitely, to me, an exception. But so let's kind of switch gears, going back to lifting as we climb. I think, and let's see what y'all think. I think this idea of lifting as we climb is mandatory. It is mandatory for Black women specifically to always be looking out for the newbie, the girl that's confused, the young lady that needs some help. It is not, optional for us. That we need to think of this as a requirement as professionals, as elders. I'm gonna say we elders. We not that old, but I feel like we old enough where we know something and we can help somebody. I think it's a mandatory thing. So let me see here. Let me ask y'all this. I have 3 questions. So first, I want to ask you: do you agree that that's mandatory? Is that optional? But I don't feel like helping nobody. It's all about me. What do y'all think about that? Is it?
It's mandatory.
It's mandatory. I mean, in my industry, you don't see a lot of us. Especially behind the scenes, like actually in the manufacturing side of things, in the operations side of things, you don't see a lot of us. And I think it is mandatory. I don't discriminate that it has to be a Black woman, but I definitely offer myself up as a mentor to young women. I keep in contact with them. A lot of them, I teach them how do you communicate with your mentor. Like I'm mentoring you, so you should put something on your calendar that every quarter you reach out to me to schedule time to speak with me. And I, as a mentor, make myself available to you. And it's reciprocal. It's not always you coming to me needing something. It's also that I come to you and I'm asking you, like, what's going on in your generation of things? How are you navigating the workspace? So for me, it's not just Black women, although I'm very proud to say I have a lot of Black women on my team right now. Yes. But I think it's all women. And when I do see a young Black woman, there's young pattern makers, and I'm like, let me link you with another Black woman pattern maker so you can now have a mentor. And this is how you engage with your mentor. This is how you keep up with her so that she's ready to pour into you, but it's your job to keep up with her. She's not going to be looking for you. You got to do the work.
That's right. All right, Nomsa, your turn. Mandatory or not?
Yes, I'm always open when folks reach out to me, right? So if I've presented at a conference or at a webinar or I'm at a meeting, I've had young women come to me afterwards or through emails and messaging. So I'm always open to talk to them about how to think about something. Whether it's questions about careers or life or whatever, I always leave that door open, right? And you never know who's watching you, right? And that's the thing that I've paid it that surprises me sometimes when people reach out to me. I was like, oh, okay, I just thought I was just being me, just being in the space, and it always feels good when I have folks come to me or reach out. And I want to be there for them, right? And support them. And it's been in different things. And I think it's just been part of my DNA. So like I'm an only child. So I do have sisters. So I have two younger sisters, Trina Williams, who now Nicole is connected with. And we got to know each other because working. So she is from the Bay Area, moved down here. She went to Pepperdine. We ended up working together and we became family, right? And so we have talked about life and careers, and I know she has my back and vice versa. And then my other sister, Aretha, is in Utah, of all places. But again, I met her freshman year of college. So I went to UC Santa Cruz. She had a friend, and he's like, oh, my little sister, good friends, they grew up together. He's going to be going to Santa Cruz. Keep an eye on her. So we met, and we are still in each other's lives. But again, it was just like, I'm going to look out for you. This is, you first went, away from home, predominantly white campus, and just trying to get it all together. But that was, and we're still in each other's lives to this day, right? Did I plan for that? Did I think that was going to happen? No. But it's just, again, looking out for folks. And we do that in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it's been the strongest professional wise as far as at work, bringing people in. Folks don't always know how to navigate the application process where I work because it's a little complicated sometimes. And I remember specifically bringing in one woman, another sister friend, Kelly Hawkins, had referred this person to me, and I helped her out. Forgot about it. Year later, she came in the interview. I forgot who she was, and thankfully, it worked out that way, where it didn't look like I was favoritism, because I actually did forget. But was able to hire her, and right now she just left and we got promoted. So it's like, whenever you can lend a hand to somebody. And I think the other thing I'll say is when you love what you do and you are confident in who you are and what you can offer, you don't feel annoyed or irritated or bothered by trying to help people. Some people always say, oh, I'm sorry to bother you. You are not bothering me. I might be busy and might not get back to you right away. But like, if I'm really excited about about teaching and you ask me about teaching, I'm gonna talk your head off. I'm gonna give you everything I know. I'm gonna try to help you as much as I can, because if you're excited about it, I want you to do what you do and thrive. So yeah, I think it is mandatory. To your point, no, I don't see it any other way. It's kind of like, that's just it. And I would say to all the folks that are watching this, all the women that are watching this, if you have not thought about it in that way, please start to think of it that way and find ways to help women along. It could be your cousins, your nieces, but it also could be the woman that works as the secretary or the admin in your office that, seems to have a connection or interest in you. Have conversations. I mean, now we're kind of all working from home, but if there's some ways to connect, you should definitely do that. So I have a few more questions and then we can kind of wrap it up. How have you been lifted? So that whole lifting as you climb, how has someone poured into you and elevated you, a woman specifically? I guess we should make that caveat. What woman in your life has poured into you and lifted you up, and how?
Ooh, it's like, where do you start? There's been so many, but I will point out one in particular. And my first, real job after graduate school, my supervisor, Elizabeth Hornsby Pringle, it was something about her. Her poise, just the grace under fire, just how she carried herself. I mean, I just thought she was amazing. But just our kind of talking about future and work she always had a listening ear.
We lost Nomsa.
She just left. Okay.
She was telling a good story. She just said,
I was all into it. She just popped out. So I guess I'll just
and we'll pick up on her when she get back. Go ahead, Deshay.
In the career space, I didn't really find, especially in the fashion industry, and I am trying to change that narrative and be an example, but you don't really find too many women who are willing to pour into you because they don't want you to take their job, take their place, replace them. So, I see she's coming back. So I didn't have the same nurturing experience. But when it comes to outside of that, I did have it in my family. I had grandmothers. And then when you kind of outgrew the knowledge that they could pour into you, then it became aunties and cousins. And then when you kind of outgrow that, then I started to actually look for coaches and look for people who, women who I go into their network in their space to get that mentorship that I need to get to the next level. So my journey has been a little bit different. Definitely when it comes to things with my career, most of it right now has come from talking with a coach. I remember recently, maybe a couple years ago, asking a VP that's in the same space that I'm in, how do I get to the executive level? How do I get from director to vice president? And would you be willing to mentor me, or would you refer me to somebody you think that would have the time to mentor me? And she told me straight up no. So I vowed to not be that way. But then I was like, well, I still want to get to that place. So how can I get there? And getting there for me is getting in those mastermind groups, getting surrounded by other women who will lift me up and cheer me on. And I'm working those contracts out. So even if you don't have that support, you can still find that support. Don't let one person's no think that no one will do it for you, is what I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's crazy that she straight up was like, no, I don't, no. And like you said, to your point, she probably was threatened, that thinking, oh, she gonna try to take my job. I ain't telling her nothing.
Right.
No, so you back?
I don't know. Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. We didn't upgrade our Wi-Fi. And I'm like, what's going on?
Mr. Husband, you gotta get that Wi-Fi together.
Wait a minute. Kurt comes upstairs. You stopped. He said, I guess maybe I need to turn some stuff off. Maybe.
I'm gonna get him. He on my list right now. Come on now, sir.
Put it together.
So he know you on the Wi-Fi. He trying to mess you up. Okay, can you finish your story? Did she freeze again?
Girl.
Okay.
Who was that?
Are you
What
back?
talking about?
You was
I don't know.
you was talking about your first supervisor.
Oh, okay. That's right. I mean, I was wrapping it up, but really it was just like I appreciated the time she gave me, right? It was never, Nicole, stop laughing at me. She was never too busy to talk to me. She was never too busy to give advice. And so that is something I felt like I wanted to give back to others. So that stayed with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I have a supervisor, Dr. King. You know her, Nomsa, Dr. Jan
Yeah.
King. I was just amazed. She's a physician. She's bilingual. She's a mom. She came in as a leader in our at my job, and again, I really took to her. I think everybody else was afraid of her for some reason. I think because she was very assertive, but I was like, no, this is cool. Like, yeah. And so, like, by the time I left, I think we really had a mutual respect for each other. She would reach out, ask my thoughts on certain things in work. I would ask for certain things, and I would be granted the privilege of doing certain things, fellowships, going to meetings on her behalf. I feel like she really helped me grow professionally to the place where I am today. So I really have a lot of respect for her. Black woman, and even her colleague, Dr. Curley, another physician, Black woman, does a lot of work in Africa with HIV prevention and all sorts of things. Really strong, again, like I was saying earlier, really strong Black women. I don't know how I got that lucky to enter my job when I did, where all of these women are in such great positions and are able to bring me along and just help me move forward. So yeah, I definitely have been lifted. I mean, even going back, I talked about this on a different podcast the other day. My mom watching my baby while I went to school. That is lifting up to like the 1,000 power. How can I ever repay my mama for watching my kid? Yes, that's her grandchild, but did she have to watch her? No, but she did. So been so much of that. Next question, how can we help others that are looking for that sisterhood, who are looking to be lifted or want to lift others that can't seem to find it? Maybe they aren't like me and walk into a job and it's like your boss is Black, the other lady Black, everybody's Black, and they are lifting. How do we help women cultivate and create that sisterhood or that whole idea of lift as we climb?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think some of it happens with the friendships you have, right? Some stuff just happens, it's natural. And, you ask that question, Nicole, and for some people, they may not have a name for it. They don't know what to call it, right? So you're giving it a name, right? You're calling it out. But I think so many of us do it. We're doing it every day with our circle of friends anyway, without even realizing. And I think, the myth that exists is that, Black women, we don't support each other. We fighting over a man, we fighting over a bag, we fighting over, what I'm saying? It's like, if you let the images on, let the images on these reality shows be how you see Black women, that's the wrong message. That's the wrong portrayal, right? So because, like, I think of our sister, our group of girlfriends, right? We all met through work, and and those friendships, and we all weren't all connected together at the same time, right? So like me, you, and Sonia, but then you had a whole other friendship with Jamila. I had a whole other friendship with Maisie. And then it's like we then created this circle, right? That, Jackie comes in. And we have been, and not to say we don't have other friendships, but that is a particular group that supports each other with personal lives, our work. Just, we do we celebrate each other's birthdays together, just whatever. Any accomplishment somebody has, we having a party. And I want to have a party just because. But if we can come together to do something, that is just what's been created for us. And I don't want people to think you're saying to them, you got to create this thing, right? Or give it a name. It's just something to realize that you have circles, and maybe you need to think about or see your circle differently, right? And I know sometimes some people is like, well, I don't want everybody to know my business. It's actually not even about that, right? It is really, how do we help each other? How can we be the shoulder that we all lean on, right? And I think as we start to really get more into that, because as Black people, that's how we are resilient. That's how we've always been, right? It's the village. And our aunts and mothers and, they had their circles of friends. And I think we just have to continue to show the generations below us that is something you can do. It doesn't all have to be about fighting over the same man or who gonna get the biggest or better handbag. Go buy your own handbag.
Right. And please, y'all, don't fight over no man. Don't do it.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna say this. Most of the time, he's not worth fighting over. Most of the time, those kind of men that you fight over aren't worth fighting over. So that's my bit of wisdom on a Friday. So maybe I'll do a Wednesday wisdom on that one, because don't do that. Did Shay any tips or thoughts about that?
Yeah, I can throw some things in there. So I'll just say, from my perspective, I've always joined networking groups. Now that you can't necessarily go to groups that are kind of like meeting up physically, I still look for those types of groups. So, I look for things that, what do I enjoy doing? Number one. So like things when it comes to fitness, I join like a Facebook group that's for Black Girl Magic for Peloton. And that's where it's a safe space where you could be Black, own a Peloton, post whatever you want, ride on classes together, get some encouragement. Oh yeah, I can invite you.
I need to be on that.
Yeah, you can get an accountability partner. Sometimes people are in there, they're like, we're my West Coast riders. I haven't rode. I'm trying to do my 100th ride with a group. And it's like, yeah, 12 o'clock, I ain't doing nothing. Let me jump on there, high five some girls. But then it also becomes those conversations and comments that now you become friends outside of those groups. Because now it's like you connected with people who are in the area that you're in, who have a common interest, and it becomes easier to make those connections. I'll give the example of how I met Nicole as well. I didn't meet Nicole from work. Like I said, I work in an industry that there's not very many of women like me around. But I met Nicole from going to something that was more like a mastermind type of, group, which of course you're going to meet like-minded people if you come to something like that have similar interests. And then when she introduced herself, I said, okay, fashion blogger. She liked fashion. She said she was vegan. Check. I like vegetables. And she said something about how she was like out there dating. And I was like, wing woman, check. So for me, I was like, that's a woman that I want in my circle, and let me introduce myself. You don't always have to court men. Dating is not just for men. I encourage women to date your friends. And I think when Nicole and I got to know each other, we dated each other. Like
we was getting out.
We was getting out. We was getting to know each other. We was doing stuff, trying to see what each other like. There would be sometimes you're like, I want to do that. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to try that. And then there'll be other times that we were like, oh, this was so much fun. We should do this again. So those would be my two things. It's like, don't be afraid that if you see somebody that you think you have things in common with, even if she might be doing better than you, you want to have friends in spaces that are doing big things. Like, I think one of our events that we went to, it was about writing a book. And I'm like, I got to see that come into fruition. Like from us doing a writing exercise to her being like, no, I got a book in me. I'm about to write a book. And then it's like, bam, here's that book. And so I would just say, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, introduce yourself, invite that person to do something you think she might like, so that you can cultivate that friendship, because it's harder when you're not in school and you're not, working to meet these people. So those would be my two forms of advice. Oh, my last one, join a mastermind,
Yes. I think that worked out really well, though. Because we initially met with a class that Natasha was doing, and then we went to the class that Kim is my book coach. Yeah. That's so crazy that you said that, because yeah, that's where it all started. That's crazy.
I love it. I love it.
So we're wrapping on up. Any last words? Anything you want to say to any woman that is watching this right now or may watch the replay later on?
I would
Keep
just
dreaming big. Keep dreaming big. Don't settle. Don't compromise. Be true to yourself. Love yourself, because if you ain't loving you, the right person ain't gonna love you back. So be kind to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. But again, keep that vision big and going, and be all you can be.
I was just gonna say, hype yourself up. If it's a song that you like that gets you going, if it's there's affirmations that I listen to by an artist called Tony Jones, and she says affirmations over music. One of them, a song is, well, I shouldn't say song, but an affirmation or a track is called Take Up Space. And she says, I hype me up, I gas me up, I hype me up, I gas me up. And it's like, get yourself in the zone. Like, don't let these people take you out of your space, out of your peace. Gas yourself up. I don't have a VP title at the moment, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I am the vice president of manufacturing and operations, and I'm about to show these people how it's done. And I gas myself up. At the end of the day, I'm a little depleted, so I have to fill myself back up again. They wear me low, but I definitely gas myself up. If I gotta listen to Beyonce, if I gotta listen to Megan Thee Stallion, I'm gassing myself up throughout the day.
I love that.
Claim it. Put it in the universe.
Love that.
It's mine.
That is so awesome. You want to give us the name of the affirmation so I can put that into the comments or the notes? Because I'm like, I never heard of that before. Okay.
Definitely will.
Well, I thank both of you ladies for being here with me tonight and being the women, the strong women that you are, the role models, the whole embodiment of lifting as we climb. I think we have, helped each other out in somewhere or another over the years and been a source of support and encouragement to each other. Or maybe you've needed something, and we've done that for on both ends. And I think it's just amazing. Black girl magic, honestly. That's the way I see it. But thank you all for being here, and thank you, audience, for listening in. Don't forget, you can follow me on my social media on Instagram, Nicole D Vick, my Facebook, Nicole D Vick. My website is www.NicoleDVick. I rebranded myself. I am the brand. You can buy my book, and that's all. That's it. See you all next time. Oh yeah, there's my book right there, y'all. #1 bestseller. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Esoan Bookstore website, Walmart, Barnes and Noble. It's everywhere, which is amazing. So thank you all, everyone. Don't forget to follow me on my social media, and we'll try to do these maybe once a month, but we try to just kind of make them more organic. As stuff comes up, we just pick a topic and jump on. So we'll see you maybe next month. Maybe we'll see you the month after that. I don't know. We'll make it work. But thank you, Nomsa, and thank you, Dinshay. And everyone, have a good night, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.